What's up, Heat fans? I'm Nic Rohloff. Today's show, two topics. Is Tyler Herro ever going to return to the Miami Heat lineup? Because I am getting skeptical of that. And John Wall wants to sign with the Miami Heat. Haven't we had enough of the John Wall rumors? Well, apparently Mr. Wall himself has not had enough as he wants to return to game action, I should say, with the Miami Heat. But first, hit that sub button. If you didn't know, it is peak NFL free agency right now. That is a busy time here at Chat Sports. I took 20, 30 minutes time out of my day and kind of pushed my teammates to the side here at Chat Sports. I stepped away from NFL free agency to come get you guys a Miami Heat video. So if you love the Heat and just appreciate me putting y'all before my own job, come on. I'm disrespecting everyone else to get you guys a video. Hit that sub button as we're talking everything surrounding the Miami Heat. All right, let's jump into it because it started with this tweet from the Miami Heat social account today with an injury update. Kevin Love, heel, and Tyler Herro, foot, have both been ruled out of tomorrow night's game against the Denver Nuggets. Jimmy Butler, who is in illness, is listed as probable. But this more or less surrounds Tyler Herro and Kevin Love because they have both been out for some time now, and I am officially concerned. Tyler Herro has not played since February 23rd. We're really close to approaching a month now from Herro. That was the first game coming out of the All-Star break. If you remember, he hurt his knee against the New Orleans Pelicans in that fourth quarter, but then also had a foot issue during a training session during the All-Star break, which kind of limited him against the Pelicans, but he played, and then he has a knee issue, but he's been out with a foot listing, at least, for the past 2 weeks. And now I am concerned because Herro has just missed so much time this year, and it really is just the story of his career. And I said this on a video last week, but I expected Tyler to be back by now. He's only played 35 games this season. The Heat have played 64 games, so he's damn near close to half the games this season out of the lineup. And it's been disappointing because he had All-Star aspirations. He had All-NBA aspirations. I didn't think that, but he did. At least the All-Star I could get behind, and he was playing good. You can talk about his record in the starting lineup being only 19 and 17. So he played 36 games, I guess. That's a typo on my end. But he's averaged 21, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 40% from the three ball and 44% from three. The field. Like, Tyler has been good on the offensive end when he plays. The issue is he has never been able to stay on the court. Like I mentioned, he's only played in 36 games. He's missed 29. This is an issue. And it's not that it's just this season when it comes to Mr. Herro. It's his entire career. When you account for this upcoming game against the Nuggets on Wednesday, that is now 96 games in his career. That is just over 25% of the Miami Heat basketball games since he was drafted by this team 4 seasons ago, or 5 off seasons, or whatever you want to say. This is a serious issue on Tyler Herro, and I am concerned because he is unable to stay on the court on a consistent basis. He has proven that almost year after year. He's always been in the 50 to 60 game mark for the Miami Heat. But now that he just is continuing to miss time now, I am kind of doubting when he will return. I thought it would have been by now. I thought it was going to be Sunday against the Wizards at worst. And then now you get 2 days off in between that game on Sunday and then Wednesday against the Nuggets, and you can't even return against Denver. Now that just raises my concern even more. Hopefully he comes back against the Pistons either Friday or Sunday, but I'm done. I am done hoping he is going to return. Until the Heat tell me he's on the court, I am no longer anticipating Tyler to be with this Heat team, and I am worried. I am asking you this question, but I am concerned. I am typing my Y's, but let me know what y'all are typing. Y for yes, N for no. Are you worried about Tyler Herro? I am, because he is never able to stay on the court, and this injury right now just seems to continue to nag him as this season goes on. The problem is the Heat need him. I showcased his numbers on screen. We'll go over them again, but this Heat team absolutely needs Tyler Herro. And you might think differently as they are 19 and 17 with him in the starting lineup. But what I saw on Sunday against the Wizards told me a lot about this Heat team. And I don't want to overreact to one game where they lost at home against Washington because I just hate overreacting. And sure, you're allowed one bad game, which the Heat were playing fine. They played a couple good halves against Dallas and OKC. They lost those games because of bad second halves, but they were playing good ball up until that point. The Sunday loss against the Wizards was the first sign of bad basketball. But the issue that I'm facing with the Miami Heat is that you've seen the inability to finish games in the clutch over the last three against Washington, against Dallas, against OKC. And regardless of what you think about Tyler Herro, one thing you cannot say about him is that he does not live for the big moments. Herro consistently rises to the occasion in the final 3 minutes, 4 minutes of a ball game. He will take the big shot. He will make the big shot. And that's where I think the Heat need him the most. Like, I'm not going to flame Duncan because he's been phenomenal this year. But 2 missed threes in the final minute and a half of that game against Washington that would have given you the lead or brought it to within one. Tyler Herro's making one of those. You can take that to the bank. Like, the Heat absolutely need Herro for his fearlessness in the final 3 or 4 minutes of these close games of fourth quarters. I'm also starting to get concerned about Kevin Love, though, because he has also missed a standard time. And originally I thought it was a hand injury, but it's been listed as a heel. The Heat need Kevin Love. As much as I love Nikola Jovic, and he's been playing really good as of late, in my opinion, he is not the backup center for this team, and they tried to play him like that against Washington, and they tried to play him like that against the OKC Thunder. That is how bad Orlando Robinson and Thomas Bryant have been. The Heat, if they want to make a push, need a healthy Kevin Love as their backup center, or just the ability to play Bam and Love together to have increased rebounding, increased size, and have spacing with K-Love and Bam. You need K-Love back, and I don't want to overact to anything this Heat team is doing with Herro and Love out because those two need to be on this roster in order for this team to make a run to the NBA Finals again. So hopefully Kevin Love can return relatively soon. We'll get to John Wall here in just a second, but first, let me show some love to our sponsor today, which is Factor Meals. Check them out. When you go to factormeals.com/HeatChat50 and input code HeatChat50, you're going to get 50% off. Why should you join Factor? Well, I'll tell you. One, they are upscale meals that are restaurant quality that are just ready to be heated up in the microwave and consumed in 2 minutes, delivered right to your front door as well. It takes no time out of your day, but you're still able to get the nutrients that are required to live a healthy lifestyle while on the go. I have a busy schedule. I know most of you guys have busy schedules. So the best way to stay good with food and have great tasting food, but also be healthy is Factor, in my opinion. Just pop in the microwave and you eat just 2 minutes. Chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals. Where else can you go? You could go vegan and veggie, keto, protein plus. You can do it all. Calorie conscious is my personal favorite. Get started today with Factor. It is my favorite sponsor here at the Heat Report. Get started today. Factormeals.com/HeatChat50. Code HeatChat50. It is in the description and comments of today's video. Now let's talk about John Wall, the former Kentucky Wildcat and All-NBA/All-Star point guard. And why am I talking about John Wall? Well, he hopped on Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller's podcast and spoke about wanting to sign with the Miami Heat. He said this in that podcast. It's called The OGs, I believe it is. I feel like I could help them a lot, referring to Miami. Getting Terry was a great piece for them. Even if I came off the bench, I could impact them. Me and UD talk about this plenty of times, and I work out with Bam a lot. That makes sense with the Bam workout because, listen, John Wall works out in Miami. That's where Bam Adebayo obviously lives, so it makes sense that they're also working out with him quite a bit. I'll tell you this right now. The Heat are not going to sign John Wall. So we're talking about it because Wall proposed the idea himself. The Heat are not going to sign John Wall, and they should not sign John Wall. I list out 3 reasons why they will not sign Mr. Wall, and it starts with he's cooked. He's not in his old heyday of John Wall. Like, I think we have to understand that. Like, what is he going to be able to provide to this Heat team? Nothing. He's cooked. That's number 1 why we won't sign John Wall. Number 2, Patty Mills has played 2 games since joining this Heat team off the buyout market from Atlanta. He's been good in both games. We'll show his stats in just a minute, but Patty Mills has been really good off the bench for Miami in the games against the Thunder and the Wizards. And number 3, DeLon Wright, who has been excellent defensively this year for Washington and in the first couple games he played with Miami, over the past 3 or 4 games, DeLon Wright can't even get on the court for the Heat in that rotation. So what makes you think John Wall would be able to do that? There is nothing that should make you think John Wall can impact this team. As much as it would be fun to add Wall to this roster just because it's John Wall and one of my personal favorite players in the early 2010s and mid-2010s, it just doesn't make sense for Miami. And if John Wall wants to get back into the NBA, it won't be with the Miami Heat. Let's look at Patty Mills' last 2 games because he's been terrific for Erik Spoelstra's lineup. Against the Thunder last Friday, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, and was a plus 13 in the plus-minus department. The game on Sunday against the Wizards wasn't as good in terms of shooting percentage, but he still knocked down a 3, still was able to have 7 points on 7 shots, and was a plus 9 in the plus-minus department. Patty Mills came off the bench, and what the Heat were doing with him, Erik Spoelstra's rotation, was he would come in late first quarter with Nikola Jovic and Jimmy Butler. Jovic and Jimmy start, they come out at the 6-minute mark, and then they're reinserted to the starting lineup with Patty Mills as he takes out Terry Rozier or Duncan Robinson with about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to go in the first, and then they play until the halfway point of the second quarter. I like that rotation, and the 3-man lineup of Jovic, Jimmy, and Bam have actually been able to provide some very nice things for Miami. Obviously, the Heat are 0-2 in the 2 games Patty Mills has played, but he's been good. And I like the way he works off of Jimmy Butler and Nikola Jovic. And I don't want to make this about a conversation about Jovic because if you watch the channel for a while, you'll know how I feel about Nikola. But Erik Spoelstra has started to entrust him a little bit more with the ball in his hands running the offense. And what do I mean by that? They get him the ball at the top of the key or the elbows, and he's able to either see over his defender and watch what the rest of the team is doing when it comes off pin downs, backdoor cuts, baseline cuts. And Nikola Jovic is given the freedom to make the decision on where to go with the basketball, whether it be Patty Mills coming off a curl and then Jovic gets it to him, sets a screen. Mills now coming off the screen, he can either take that mid-range shot, take the 3, or get to the basket and take the layup. Like, that's the type of offense he's running. And then Mills and Jimmy Butler also work really well off ball, setting screens for each other, whether it be Jimmy setting a screen for Mills, popping out for a 3, or even Patty Mills was able to free up Jimmy Butler on a backdoor cut as Nikola got him. And one thing that those two specifically are doing that are very good, and we're talking about them setting screens for each other off ball, if they don't get someone wide open, they oftentimes switch as Patty Mills sets a backdoor screen for Jimmy. So Jimmy darts towards the rim. And the defender on Butler obviously can't see it because it's a backdoor screen. So the defender of Patty Mills, who's generally a smaller guard because Mills is a smaller guy, will switch on the Butler since the guy guarding Jimmy can't see the screen and get there, which means Jovic can lob it up to Jimmy Butler, who is now defended by a smaller 1 or 2 from the opposing team, which allows him to use his strength and athletic ability around the rim to draw a foul or get a bucket easy inside. That's that 3-man lineup that Spoelstra has been running, and it's been very, very effective over the first 2 games that Mills has played. So to revert this back to John Wall, there is no reason for Miami to sign him because Patty Mills has a good thing going with Jovic and Jimmy when he's on the court. And John Wall, 1, can't space the floor like Patty Mills can. He's a bad shooter. And I get if you think John Wall can help get to the rim in athleticism. The problem is you don't need it, and you just have a backlogged guard rotation. And especially if Tyler Herro does ever return, where are these minutes going to come from? DeLon Wright can't even get on the court when it's just Terry Rozier, Patty Mills, and DeLon Wright. Do we think John Wall is going to get into this lineup? And when Tyler Herro returns, I doubt. I think Patty Mills' minutes are going to go away when Tyler Herro returns. Like, this guard rotation is just too full, and it just makes no sense for Miami to sign him. So don't even get your hopes up, Heat fans. Sorry to break it to you. That will do it for today's video. Make sure you are subscribed. Unclear if I could go live tomorrow for the game against the Nuggets. This week is chaos for free agency. I was lucky enough to get away to film this 15-minute video and have the preparation for it as well, which has ended up being 30 to 40 minutes. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to go live, but we will be live starting up again next week with Miami Heat basketball games. Join the channel. I'll still try to cover you with the latest around the Miami Heat for the rest of this week. Peace out, Heat fans. Nic Rohloff, hit that sub button.